There is an expression that says, people make plans and God laughs. And I am not sure about you, but I think this idea applies to many of our lives. For example, hypothetically speaking, say you are someone from California who loves the beach and the warmth, but somehow ended up living in the Midwest for over a decade, miles, many, many miles from an ocean. I'm just saying, hypothetically speaking, I hear this can happen to people. This type of significant veering from our plans can occur in many different aspects of our lives. Whether it is divorce, illness, death, a job change, a relationship, a move, etc. We can find ourselves on a very different path in a very different place than we ever thought we would be. When this occurs, we are often left wondering how we got there or what happened to land us on such a different path. It can be confusing or disorienting as we try to make sense of it all. I am reminded of a friend of mine, Rebecca, who was 8 months pregnant at the time. She thought she was going to a routine doctor's appointment when she found herself being rushed to the labor and delivery unit. My friend had not yet set up a nursery or bought diapers or infant clothes yet because she thought she had plenty of time, when all of a sudden, she didn't. So several panicked phone calls from the hospital later, all of the logistical needs were taken care of, but the disorientation remained. Thankfully, my friend and her baby were healthy and are still thriving today. When this happened, Rebecca was a rabbinic student, and she had thought a lot about theology and questioned the role that God played in this experience. She considered if God was found in her early labor, in the life-saving technologies, in both places, in none of them, or somewhere in between. Because of this, she still wonders about how much involvement God has in our daily lives. One of my very favorite aspects of Reformed Judaism is that we might all have very different ideas about God. There is not one belief that we are supposed to have, and we are encouraged to question our own ideologies. Often our ideas about God change over time, influenced by our own life experiences. Yet whatever our personal beliefs about God are, during the High Holy Days, we acknowledge the limited control that we have over our lives. We are forced to come face to face with our boundaries. We like to think that we are in control and have all sorts of medicines and technologies to help us with this. But the difficult truth is, none of us, not one of us, is in complete control over our lives. Sometimes through circumstances, we face this truth other times of year, but each of us have to acknowledge this unsettling fact each High Holy Days. Just moments ago, we read the Unatana Tokef. This is one of the most difficult and heart-wrenching prayers of the entire High Holy Day liturgy. It states what we usually don't speak out loud. It says, on Rosh Hashanah it is written, on the fast of Yom Kippur it is sealed. Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age and who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? And as we heard last night, Rabbi Eddie Feinstein wrote, I sat in shul for years reading these words before I realized the answer. The answer to each of these questions is me. Who will live and who will die? I will. Who at the end of their time and not at their end? Me. Of course, I prefer to defect this truth, to think that this prayer is about someone else, but it is about me. It is a frightfully succinct summary of my existence. I will live and I will die at the right time and before. I will wander and I might yet find rest. I will be troubled and I might achieve tranquility. The central truth of these High Holy Days is that we are vulnerable. This prayer reminds us that we do not know what is going to happen in this year ahead, and we have to admit that there are forces beyond us. But the control that we think we have is comforting because it is terrifying to acknowledge the other and the inherent randomness and unfairness of life. We can all think of examples about when bad things happen to good people, and we seek to understand why. This is a central and unanswerable question that is present throughout our lives, and especially on our minds today. This is a reality for many of you and my family as well. As you know, we have been dealing with illness for several years now, and unfortunately, it continues to be part of our lives. On this journey, we continue to appreciate the medical staff and technologies and the support that this community has given to us. But I know we are not the only ones with challenges, because too many of your lives, too, have been touched by illness, loss, and other forms of struggle and uncertainty. Facing all of this fear and limitations brings into clear focus what we can control, especially now as I'm hearing from more and more people who are feeling like our country and other parts of the world are in dark and unrecognizable places. Many people want to help but don't even know where to start or what to do. With the vastness of the problems, it is all the more important to focus on what we can impact, where we can make a difference with our time, our effort, and our energy. The High Holy Days remind us that what is up to us is how we live and how we spend our time. All of our lives are finite, and our control over them is limited. But what we do with them, how we live, is up to us. In a few minutes, we will read some of my very favorite lines from Torah, the words, "Uvaharta b'hayim," choose life. Each and every day, we have the opportunity, we have the option to choose life. It says, "I have set before you blessings and curses, choose life, so that you might live and your children will live, by loving and staying close to God, for God gives you life and the length of your days." Choose life, uvaharta b'hayim. The text is urging us to choose life. We are encouraged by Jewish tradition over and over again to choose life, to see blessings, and to focus on the good around us. Yes, there will be times when we can't, and that is okay. But when we can, Jewish tradition reminds us to find blessings, to choose life, and cultivate hope. Judaism is a religion that is built on hope, recognizing blessings and appreciating the good. Hopefully, we all have role models of people like this in our lives, and today is an opportunity to think about who that is for you and to talk to the people in your lives about it. And we ask ourselves how we individually can choose life, because the answer for us will be different for each one of us. But today, the High Holy Day liturgy encourages us to think about what it means for us individually and how we can actualize it in the year ahead. To help us with this, Talmud Shabbat 31a says that we will face 7 questions when we get to heaven. What I find most interesting about these questions is that they are not what you would expect. They are not about religious observance or adherence to Jewish law. Instead, they are about how we lived. The first question asks, did we deal honestly and faithfully in our professions? Inherent within this question asks if we are treating others well. It asks if we are fair and humble and compassionate in our work. It wonders if we put Jewish values at the core of our professional life and encourage others to do the same. The second question is, did we find time for Torah? Now, as a rabbi, I happen to love this question because I think everyone should find time for Torah. And we have many opportunities here at Temple to study Torah, which I'm very happy to discuss with you. But this question is reminding us to find time for learning and to connect with Jewish texts and tradition. It is urging us to seek out ways to incorporate Judaism into our daily lives and to increase our Jewish connections. The third question is, did we busy ourselves with creation? This question helps us think about the way we are contributing to the world around us. It does not just apply to parenting, but also to the arts, to social justice, and to Tikkun Olam. It is helping us think about the legacy that we want to leave and to ensure that we are working towards it. The fourth question is, were you hopeful? As a sometimes annoyingly optimistic person, like many of you, I particularly appreciate this question. Judaism is a religion that is founded on hope and has continued to seek out hope even in the darkest of times. For thousands of years, Jews have turned to Judaism because it helps them find hope. And this question reminds us that we can do the same. Rabbi Jonathan Sacks wrote, "To be a Jew is to be an agent of hope in a world seriously threatened by despair." Every ritual, every mitzvah, every syllable of the Jewish story, every element of Jewish law is a protest against escapism, resignation, or a blind acceptance of faith. Judaism is a sustained struggle against the greatest ever known, against the world that is, in the name of the world that could be and should be, but is not yet. There is no more challenging vocation throughout human history when people have sought out hope. They have found it within the Jewish story. The fifth and sixth questions ask if we sought out wisdom. This question reminds us to continue to educate ourselves and seek out mentors and learning opportunities. No matter our age or stage, we can always learn more and continue to enhance our knowledge. The final question, and perhaps the most important one, is, have you been true to yourself? This reminds us not to compare ourselves to others, but truly to reflect and ask ourselves if we have lived up to the people that we strive, aspire, and want to be. These questions help us live so that we can choose life. During the High Holy Days, we reflect on what is most important to us and how we want to spend our time. With the limited control we have over our lives and the world around us, we need to focus on what we can do. And what we can do and what we must do is choose life, choose optimism, and choose joy. Yes, we might make plans, and God might laugh. But despite this, or perhaps because of this, our task today and every day is to choose life, to see blessings, and to cultivate hope. I hope and I pray and I know that we are up to this challenge. Choose life, uvaharta b'haim, today and every day. May we be able to do so in the weeks, months, and years ahead. Good night.